Hi everybody, this is Jamie from C4 Depot, and we have had a request to demonstrate infinite space. Now, infinite space is like about the easiest thing in the world to use. It's pretty much just a palette of stuff you click on and you throw it into your scene and you're done. But some people want to see these things in action. So, Michael, if you're out there, this video is for you. Now, when you open infinite space, you get this nice little palette of things to work with. And this is pretty much everything that we could think of that had to do with space. Okay. And we tried to put it all in there. Um, the first thing that I would do is I would just use a custom space background. This is just, you know, a configurable background that's mapped to a sky object. And if you just highlight this and you go into the coordinates and you do like a -50 on the H, it'll put it right in the middle of the viewport. So that's the Milky Way. And you have like some, if you can crank this thing up to make it a little bit more intense if you want. Now I think that just kind of makes it a little bit more bright, a little brighter. But if you're like me, I like things that are kind of bright and crazy. So if you expand this Milky Way texture in the luminance channel, you can take this bottom gradient and I went too far. You can increase this from like say 10% to 20, and that'll just give it a little bit more color. And we'll let it render there for just a second. I think there it goes. Okay, so now it's bluer, a little bit prettier, I guess. And if you like that, you can crank up the color a little bit. And the next thing would be like infinite stars, and I gotta just warn you, it takes a little bit for these voxels to load. But these are like volumetric stars and little volumetric things, cubes or whatever, voxels. And they're not to real world scale. I mean, they're not light years apart like stars would be. We've tried to fit them into the computer, I guess. So now you can see that we're actually in this star field. And you know what we could actually go into the project settings. It's always a good idea when you're doing a project that's measured in parsecs. Is edit project settings and let's do like the view clipping to huge. Huge. It's always good. Okay, and you can just sort of like move around in this thing, and see that it's like an actual volumetric field that you're kind of like right in the middle of it. And these stars will actually pass as you move forward. It's kind of cool. And I'll just do little quick render, quick famous last words. Okay. Okay. And so that is the infinite star preset, except for, let me just show you some of the other things on here. When you click on the infinite star preset, you'll get these variables. So you can adjust the star size, you can uh, adjust the density, and so on and so forth. And one of the things that I really love is this galaxy. This is the one that Kyle did. And I just love this thing. I think he just did a phenomenal job creating this galaxy. And so that's volumetric, made out of smart particles. And if you want to like fly into it, you can. And there's my galaxy, which is more colorful again. I could never get enough of the bright colored crayons when I was in kindergarten. So this is my opportunity to make things kind of psychedelic and colorful. But you have this sort of helium fusion thing going on in the middle of the galaxy, and then it sort of cools down towards the edges. But that is also a volumetric galaxy, and you can always create an asteroid field. That's always nice. And again, this is kind of cool because when you fly through your asteroid field, these things are already like kind of ready to go. So that when you've got the render going, these things will be spinning around in space, being very lifelike and festive in their asteroid sort of way. And then we have some, planets. We've got, I don't know why I just clicked on this flying saucer, but, everybody needs to make a fake YouTube video with, a UFO in it, right? And I love uh, this UFO primarily because I built it, but yeah, it's got these really nifty lights on it that spin when you run the timeline, and you've got some landing gear that comes out, and the your tractor beam kind of comes up and out, which is really essential if you're going to like mutilate cattle from the neighbor's farm, or if you really want to like use the death beam and just annihilate everybody on Earth, you can activate that through this port. Or you can use this to just, suck up human specimens and dissect them in your alien lab. I don't know what kind of nefarious stuff you're up to, but this is a great little UFO for doing your devilish alien business. And then we've got nebulas. I mean, I could just kind of go through this thing, but I think you got the point for the most part. And if you can't find anything, it's very easy to lose things in space, because it's kind of hard to have a landmark. So, a real quick little thing, and there's probably an even quicker deal than doing the target tag, but there you go. And be sure to turn your target tag off, otherwise it'll mess up your camera motion. But these things are kind of cool, nebulas, and you could always do like a look at me tag on the nebulas, and it'll always face the camera. Or if you don't want to do that, you can add a volumetric nebula. I think I did like some of these. Yeah, this looks like one that I might have done. So he's pretty far away, that nebula. But the thing that's cool about the volumetric ones is you can actually zoom right through them. Not very realistic because I think that they're light years apart, in size, but maybe millions of light years, in fact. But we have all of that, and the last thing I guess I'll show you is this comet. I love this comet, and I love it because again, I made it. What's more cool than that? You've got a comet, and you've got a flying saucer, and you've got everything that you could possibly need to make some clickbait videos. This is your basic extinction level object that's going to, destroy civilization in the coming weeks. And everybody should make a video like this. It's just a fun thing to, annihilate, a planet and entire civilizations in your spare time. So this is, kind of like your default comet, and you have some pretty cool options for the comet. You've got, a burning tail length. You can make this sucker really hot, smoking hot. It's coming in really fast, and it's just really booking through space. And this is the Comet Tail turned on. I guess you can turn that off. Now it's just a burning asteroid, not a hemorrhoid asteroid. I don't know what the difference is, but this one then also has burning tail spread. You can make it really, big and fat once it gets into the atmosphere. And you've got, like, I don't know, edge randomness, detail scale, and of course it all animates when you run the timeline. It's not just a static thing; it actually does something when it's when it's rendering. And you can make the tail more luminous. Yeah, let's just see what happens when I do that. Yep, it's really hot. So that's kind of it for infinite space. And I didn't go through all the other things, planets, models, flying saucers, satellites, whatnot. But they're all in there. And if you can think of anything else that we can put into infinite space, let us know. If you own infinite space, you'll get a free update the next time we release something. I think we're going to put a star tunnel in there, you know, the warp drive effect, and that'll be free if you already own infinite space. And I think that is it for today. Michael, I hope this satisfies your curiosity about infinite space. And thank you very much. And have a great evening. Talk to you later. Bye bye.